All right, good morning, everyone. We'd like to welcome you to today's presentation on behalf of the California Department of Veterans Affairs and the California Transition Assistance Program to today's presentation in partnership with College of the Canyons, titled Maximizing Your Educational Benefits. My name is Derek Rose. I'm a training coordinator for the California Transition Assistance Program team. I'm here today in partnership with my colleague Danielle Tran and Anthony Rodriguez from CalVet. We would like to begin today just by kind of giving you a brief update and overview of the CalTAP program itself and kind of run through some of the California specific veterans benefits for not only yourself, but also for your family members if they're eligible. So with that, we will go ahead and push through. So Danielle, if you don't mind going to the next slide, please. Great, thank you. So we wanted to kind of start with just some housekeeping, and I just kind of briefly mentioned the agenda overview and just kind of how the questions and answers will be facilitated for the day. So we wanted to start, first of all, we want to encourage you, if you are not, directly speaking or a presenter for today's presentation, to please just keep your microphone muted, and also to just turn off your camera. That just kind of helps eliminate some of the distractions for the rest of the group and reduces on bandwidth. Like I said, for the agenda, we're going to do a brief overview of the CalTAP program, exactly show you how to navigate our website and all of our learning and training modules, and kind of briefly explain what those modules are. And then we will go ahead at the end and go into a virtual Q&A panel. We do encourage you to use the Zoom chat feature, as you can see. If you can go to the next slide, please, Danielle. Yeah, so there's just a simple screenshot of the Zoom chat feature. So the way it can work is, if you have a question, please direct that to the CalTAP questions tab. It's a little drop-down tab there in the chat box, and just submit your question that way, and then we can field that question, and I can answer it myself, or Danielle, or Anthony, kind of whoever is a subject matter expert in your specific question. We can take that. You can also send a direct message privately to each one of the co-hosts, which would be myself, Danielle, or Anthony directly, if you didn't want to just send that to the CalTAP questions tab. But that's what we encourage you to do for the presentation. So we just wanted to just kind of provide that housekeeping for you and just kind of give you an idea how it's going to work. I also forgot to mention, you should have received a pre-packet email yesterday with all the information for today's event. That email included some attachments and some resources from CalVet. One of those resources should have been a PDF online copy of our California Veterans Resource Book. I highly encourage you to download a copy of this digitally, only for the fact that our office no longer has any more to mail out. We just ran out of them, but we're in the process of printing a new edition. But that is going to be an A to Z listing of all of your California veterans benefits, as well as your federal benefits. There's also local resources in there. It's just a great, just kind of an all-encompassing resource for all of your veterans benefits. There should be a map in there as well that shows your local interagency network coordinators region. And Anthony is going to come on in a little bit and talk a little bit more about what those links do in those regions, and basically just wants to show you that with that map, that there's always a CalVet representative in your county or in your region that can connect you to not only government resources, but non-government resources if you need assistance in your region. So you should have received that, the agenda for today, our resource book. So I encourage you to review that email as well to make sure you have all of the attachments. Next slide, please. All right, so with that, we will do an overview of the CalTAP program a little bit more specifically. Like I said, my name is Derek Rose. I'm a CalTAP training coordinator. I'm also a OIF, OEF, United States Navy veteran, separated active duty 2011. I went back to school utilizing my GI Bill, got my degree from Sacramento State University, and now I'm with the California Department of Veterans Affairs. So I am kind of honored to be able to come back and do these presentations, specifically at our colleges, because I like to say I kind of have a shared experience of what goes on in the transition process, primarily with education, and I've used all the benefits myself, not only with my GI Bill, but as a disabled veteran as well. So it's just it's kind of cool to be able to come back and speak to you guys today. So we will go ahead and just get started with our overview. So what is the CalTAP program specifically? Well, just like it says, it's designed to inform and connect veterans of all eras to their earned federal and state benefits. We know that different eras of different veterans, those needs change over time. So we pride ourselves in offering the benefits and services to accommodate those needs for whatever era that veteran might have served. It could still be a World War II veteran, Korea, Vietnam veteran, and of course our most recently separated veterans as well. So the way that we've done that is we've created on our website 5 key pathways, and those pathways cover everything from our core curriculum, which is basically your Veterans Benefits 101. It's how to file a claim for disability, how to apply for VA healthcare, discharge upgrade information, financial literacy resources. We also have our education, employment, entrepreneurship, and also our service provider pathways as well. So if your transition process is gonna bring you to either one of those pathways, whether it's you're going back to school or you're looking for jobs, or you wanna start your own business, or you want to be a provider to veterans in your area, each one of those pathways is gonna give you detailed step-by-step learning modules on how to navigate all of the resources and how to get started on each one of those paths. So that's what we have done with our website and our program. And we're gonna, for today, we're specifically gonna cover our education pathway, but we do encourage you to kind of navigate all of these resources and become familiar with CalVet and the CalTAP website, so that, let's say after you graduate college, you wanna get a job, or you can find out whether it's you want to get a government job or a state or a federal job, or just kind of learning some resume tips and tricks, or if you want to start your own business, wherever your journey may take you. So we just wanted to make you familiar with that. If you want to go to the next slide, please. So this is how to find us, calvet.ca.gov. You can click on it right there at the top, and then that will bring you to the CalVet's main home screen, and you can find us, CalTAP, onto that little icon right down there to the right if you click through. Okay, I skipped a step, apologize. So we wanted to highlight the bottom of that screen for that link down there to our Veterans Resource Book, and that's that PDF copy that I mentioned earlier. So we just wanted to provide you information on where to find that, and there it is, a PDF, the PDF version. You can download that and check it out at your leisure. So we wanted to make you familiar with that, and there you go. To get to the CalTAP's main screen, you'll click on our CalTAP icon right there down to the right, and that will bring you to the California Transition Assistance Program's main page. And you can see there each one of our 5 pathways that we've established. So if you wanted to learn any more and find out any more about one of those pathways, just feel free to navigate that at your leisure. So how exactly can you use CalTAP online? If you just wanted to go to the next page, yeah. So let's say you wanted to get started, you would click on I would recommend clicking on our core curriculum pathway, and that'll bring you to all of the learning modules. As you can see, as I mentioned earlier, anything from claims, compensation, healthcare, discharge information, citizenship resources. You can find all of that right there. But for the purpose of today's presentation, we want to focus on California-specific benefits because we're, you know, mostly all veterans residing here in the state of California. So that's what we're going to want to talk about for today. So we would go ahead and click on that. And that will bring you a link to the PDF versions of all of these lessons. And basically those are just links to each one of the California specific benefits to where you can just read, find out more information a little bit more in detail. Next slide, please. And that'll bring you to, like I said, PDF copies. It's very basically almost just kind of copy and paste of what you'll find in the resource book itself, but those PDF lessons are there as well through those links. So that kind of gives a detailed explanation, but we will just go ahead and run through them kind of like overview style of exactly what those California specific benefits are, because we talk about them, we want to know what they are, right? So what are they? So let's go ahead and click through. Like I said, resource book, you can find it all there as well. Next slide, please. You can go to the next slide, please. So let's start with kind of one of the main benefits that the state offers for veterans. It's the College and Tuition Fee Waiver Program, and that waives tuition and fees at any state-funded school, which is a UC, CSU, or California Community College, for your dependent if you are a disabled veteran. We will talk about this a little bit more in the educational pathway a little bit later on. But basically, if you separate active duty and you filed a claim for compensation and the VA has given you anything from a 0% rating, you would still be, your dependent would still be eligible to apply for that. So it's a great benefit. As you can see, it saves veterans millions of dollars a year in tuition costs. So definitely encourage you to apply for that if you're eligible, and we'll cover a little bit more in detail a little bit later on. Next slide, please. DMV program. So we partner with the DMV on several programs. The main, I'd say most popular one is that veterans driver's license designation. So that allows you to have the word veteran printed on your driver's license or California ID. So that's just a way for you to show your veteran status, to get discounts, other benefits, and things like that. So you're not carrying around your paper copy of your DD-214. Honoring veterans license plates. This is actually available to all motorists, not only veterans. But you can have a license plate that says the words honoring veterans on it. You can customize it. You can actually have a emblem or a logo from your era of service, from your branch of the military, and kind of customize your license plate however appropriate. And then there's also the motor vehicle registration fee waiver if you're eligible. And eligibility is determined by either you have a, if you have a significant service-connected disability that limits your mobility, you could be eligible for the vehicle registration fee waiver. It does require a medical certification from a medical provider to confirm that, but you could be eligible if your service-connected disability is determined to do that. So just go ahead to the next slide, please. That's just a little bit more information on how to apply for the driver's license designation. You can find that at your leisure. So outdoor activities, California has a lot of great outdoor activities to offer, from fishing and hunting and state parks passes. If you are a disabled veteran, you could be eligible for a reduced annual fee on your fishing and hunting license, as well as a distinguished veteran state parks pass, which basically allows you a no-cost use of all state park facilities. That does require a 50% disability rating from the VA. But if you have that, you can simply apply through Department of Fish and Wildlife or the California State Parks, and they will make that determination for your eligibility based on your application. Next slide. Tax programs. There is the Disabled Veteran Property Tax Exemption. If you are 100% rated by the VA, You are eligible to apply through your county assessor's office, to wherever it is you pay your property taxes, for a certain exemption amount. It doesn't just make you exempt from property taxes in general, but up to a certain amount based on that county's assessment of property value. So it's different according to each county. But if you have that eligibility, you could apply for that. If you wanted to sell any goods or products or services, or be a vendor of any products or services, you could be eligible for a business license tax and fee exemption. You would apply for that through whatever is the issuing authority for the business license, whether it's city or county. And there's the Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise Program. This is a little bit more specific to our entrepreneurship pathway, but just a high-level explanation. If you are a disabled veteran and you start and own your own business, you could have that DVBE certification, and that would allow you preference for bidding on government contracts. So if you wanted to do business with the state of California, and you're a disabled veteran business owner, you could apply for that and have that eligibility determined. I encourage you to navigate our entrepreneurship pathway as well, to find out a little bit more about the DVBE resources. Next slide, please. CalVet Home Loans. This is another one of our most popular programs here at CalVet. I'm unfortunately not qualified to discuss all of the intricacies of applying for a home loan, but what I can do is just say that it provides low to sometimes no down payment financing for veterans if you wanted to apply for a home loan. There are competitive market rates in comparison to maybe a VA home loan or a conventional home loan or FHA. And like I said, it's low or no down payment requirement. I highly encourage you, if you are interested in home ownership, to at least reach out to one of our wonderful loan originators and staff members at CalVet. They are great people, they're a great team, and they can work with you a little bit more directly about applying for the home loan. But it's a great benefit for veterans. I have a CalVet home loan. I was able to purchase my first home with a CalVet home loan. So it was a great, easy process. So if you're interested, we're not here to sell you anything. It's a non-commission based program. But if that's what you're interested in, please reach out and find out all of our information when you have a chance. Next slide, please. Our California Women Veterans Division at CalVet at headquarters, that division provides information, advocacy, outreach, and support to California women's veterans. The kind of great thing about that program specifically is that it will connect you with a network of other women veterans who are maybe entrepreneurs, to be mentors or guide you in your professional development as you transition, and really just build that network, which is so important for the transition process, whether it's business or school or employment. So that's a great resource as well. Next slide, please. And that's where you can find out more on our website, Women's Veterans Roster. Also with our minority veterans outreach, we pride ourselves on our minority veterans outreach, and again, provides information, advocacy, support, and assistance. And one of the key components of our minority outreach is helping and assisting with naturalization services and resources. Next slide. And that's the screenshot of the minority and underrepresented veterans page, to where you can find out more detailed information. We also operate 8 veterans homes in the state of California. Those provide services and care all the way from independent living all the way through skilled nursing facilities and skilled nursing care. So you can see those 8 locations listed below. So I know this is way off, long down the road, but we wanted to let you know that that care is available for you when that time of need does come. or maybe you have a friend or family member who will be in that position when they get to a certain age. Just remember that there's 8 homes specifically operated by our department, CalVet, throughout the state. Our state cemeteries as well, you may be familiar that there's national cemeteries all across the nation, but we operate 3 here in the state as well. They're located in Seaside, Redding, and exclusively at our Yountville Veterans Home in Napa County. So those are the 3 we operate as well. And that's where you can find out a little bit more information about cemeteries and burial benefits, anything from where they are, how to submit an application and actually establish your pre-need eligibility. Pre-need eligibility just makes it a little bit easier for the family when that time of need does come. So the VA is not trying to establish your eligibility for that after the time of need. So pre-need allows you to kind of just, it doesn't reserve you a specific spot or location, but it just makes the process a little easier when the time of need does come. So just keep that in mind. So some common veteran websites that you may or may not have come across already, but we wanted to make you familiar with that, that you're probably going to be seeing. So one of the main ones is obviously va.gov, and they've kind of similarly broken their key areas down almost into kind of pathways, if you will. Anything from disability, healthcare, education benefits, records information. Yeah, all of that can be found through that screen right there. And this is also where you can find the portal eBenefits. eBenefits is a way for you to track and manage any benefits that you are receiving, whether it's your GI Bill, claims and compensation, certificate of eligibility for a VA home loan, your awards summary letter. You can find all of that through eBenefits. You can apply for benefits and disability through eBenefits. However, we encourage you to not do that directly. We always encourage you to work with an accredited veteran service representative if you are attempting to apply for VA disability compensation. So just make sure somebody there is representing you throughout the process. And please, from one veteran to another, don't try and do that on your own. That's the best advice I could give you. You'll also be able to go to My Health eVet. And My Health eVet is a place for you to have a little bit more direct contact with your healthcare provider, anywhere from refilling your prescriptions to scheduling appointments, to emailing your primary care physician, to downloading your health records and information. So that's a pretty user-friendly tool for all of your healthcare info right there for you. So that is the overview just of California-specific benefits and the California Transition Assistance Program. If you have any more questions regarding anything that I covered, feel free to reach out to me directly through my email at derek.rose@calvet.ca.gov, or you can always give us a phone call. We always answer the phones. There's our contact line right there for our veteran services. So feel free to reach out. You have questions, comments, and we'd be happy to assist you. So with that, I will go ahead and turn it over to Anthony Rodriguez. Anthony is our local interagency network coordinator for the Los Angeles County region, and he's going to discuss a little bit more about what he does in his region and how he can connect you to benefits and services down in Los Angeles. So with that, Anthony, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you having me on board. And I wanted to welcome all of you for coming on board. And I noticed a lot of familiar names, a lot of people from Region 6. So great to have you guys. And I'm glad that if you've not heard about CalTAP, that you guys are getting an idea of some of the services they offer. And you're hearing from Derek primarily, but you'll hear from there's a whole team of these individuals who can assist with helping you on your individual campus. So let's go to the next slide. So my title is LINC. So I am a local interagency network coordinator. Another word for that would be a regional field agent. And what I do, if you don't already know, is I provide outreach. I'm the primary outreach for CalVet in this particular region. My region is all of Los Angeles County and all of Ventura County. So the goal is to provide information to service members, veterans, and their families. I also make a number of referrals and work directly with service providers whom I know. So if you, as an individual vet or your agency or college was to call me and ask me for assistance, I wouldn't give you a toll-free number. What I would do is give you a contact that I know personally and trust, and then ask you, generally I'll try to follow up and make sure everything's taken care of for you or your veterans. Also in this position, I help out with local emergencies. Right now, there's lots of fires going on statewide. Last year, I was quite involved. For 2 or 3 weeks, I was involved in the local assistance areas set up by the county and state. Thus far, I have not been called, but if I am called, what I would do is go to one of these centers and provide services directed just for veterans in terms of housing, healthcare, education, employment, mental health. And so I do that as I'm called. Additionally, I provide leadership to local community groups. I'm a member of the Ventura County Veterans Collaborative as well as the Los Angeles Veterans Collaborative, and on a number of other, advisory boards and what have you in the area to provide a different perspective, that's a little bit broader in my position. Next page, please. This is the map that Derek made reference to earlier. This is the map of links. So what this shows you is that in whatever portion of the state you live in, there's someone like myself who can help you and your veterans. So the area that I cover is the turquoise toward the bottom of the page, which is Los Angeles and Ventura County. But as you can see, the entire state is covered. So one of the greatest things that we do at CalVet is we bring the services to you. As probably all of you know or will know, the majority of your benefits are going to come from the federal VA. But with the federal VA, the thing is you have to know what you want and where to get it. And Derek did a nice job in explaining some of the, the larger areas where you go. But if you don't know about something, you don't know where to look for that. So that's where people like myself can come in and assist you and give you guidance. We also work with the county veteran service offices. I'll just show you real quick. You can see there's 58 counties in the state of California. Every one of these counties has a county veteran service office, and those individuals are trained by CalVet on how to file connected disability claims. So the idea is that if you do need to file a claim, it's not too far. You don't have to go to the VA directly or go to the hospital, in particular now that they're closed to the general public. You can go to one of the local offices. So if you need assistance in where to find them, I'd be happy to do that, and my information will be on the end. Next page. My position is very unique in that there's no other position I've ever encountered that is like mine. In that not only do I go out and assist, make contacts, develop relationships with individuals. I'm happy to say that Renard and I have a great relationship here at College of the Canyons, who's the host of this program, this webinar. But also, in addition to that, it's my position to learn about all the different services. And I spend a fair amount of time explaining how services work, explaining how the Veterans Benefits Department, the VA benefits, works different than the hospital, and what the clinics do at the VA, and what the various service providers do, and which are good service providers, say for employment, or which are good for healthcare or for mental health care, and so on. CalVet has its fingers in a lot of different areas, and through some of the influence that I have, we provide a lot of the mental health that's come into this area has been directed through recommendations that I've made and others in the area. So we have a very unique position, and we're here to serve you and be as available as possible. Next page. We work very hard at being resource experts. As you know, there are so many resources out there. Just think about the resources in the education alone and what many college counselors, certifying officials, Veteran Resource Center staff do. You guys have a tremendous job and do a lot. But if you think about that, that's, you know, there's also housing, there's healthcare, there's homelessness, there's so many areas that involve our vets. And then there's the different eras. The needs of someone in Vietnam is not going to be the needs of someone who just got out. So I work real hard at being an expert in all those and finding resources and having knowledge so that when a call comes, or if I can, I help a veteran to access those services on the federal, state, county, city, nonprofit, and service provider level. Next page. So that's what I do. This is my contact information. That number under my name, 213, is my work cell. You are welcome to give me a call if you ever have questions about anything in the Los Angeles or Ventura County area regarding resources or benefits. My email is there listed as well. I also answer lots of calls at this point coming from all parts of the state regarding services and benefits. So I know a little bit about that as well. So anyway, I'm happy to be here. Please give me a call. Let me know how I can help you out if there's anything I can do. And at this point, I'll turn it back over to Derek, and he'll proceed from there. Thank you much.
Good morning, everyone. Again, thank you for thank you for coming and joining us today. My name is Danielle Tran. I'll be talking to you about going into more detail about the educational benefits and kind of some best practices on making sure that you are utilizing your GI Bill effectively. So as Derek mentioned earlier, to get to our CalTAP page, you're just going to go to that main logo there on the main website for CalVet. You'll click on that education pathway, and you'll be able to go through and see all of the modules. This one's a little bit shorter, but again, going into detail on giving you some tips and tricks on selecting a school, going into detail on your educational benefits, and then giving you some insight on the California college systems, the community colleges, the states, and the UCs. So again, just there to be your one place to stop and get all this information when you are going about researching schools. So if you guys are considering transferring to a state or a UC school, this is a place that you can go to get more information. So let's talk briefly about the Forever GI Bill. It ended the 15-year limit for GI Bill usage and provided full benefits to recipients who have the Purple Heart recipients, regardless of their service, and it restores GI benefits to those affected by school closures. So hopefully, you know, at your school that won't happen to you, but if you plan on going to a school that may have impacted you, you can get your benefits restored that way. And in addition, it increased the GI Bill benefits by $2,300 per year for veterans with less than 12 months of active service. And then it also expanded benefits for those STEM degrees, the science, technology, engineering, and math. And we're going to go into a little bit more detail on that. So what is that STEM scholarship? We say STEM for short. Well, it gives you an additional 9 months of benefits in order to pursue that degree, because we know those science, technology, engineering, math degrees tend to take a little bit longer because they have more prerequisites, more graduation requirements. So it gives you that additional benefits and that additional time so that you can go ahead and complete that degree. Now, this can't be matched by Yellow Ribbon program. So if you are going to a school that does qualify for Yellow Ribbon, it would not be matched there. And for those, if you know anybody who is going to be transitioning out soon, this particular benefit cannot be transferred to the dependents. So again, just talking about transferability. So if you had planned to use that GI Bill for your dependents before you transferred out, you would have had to do that before you exited service. So a great website that we encourage everyone to look at is just going directly to that source, va.gov, to get information about eligibility, get information on how to apply. We also are strongly encouraging vets to use the GI comparison tool. So again, if you're considering transferring, you want to look into this tool so that you know exactly how much you will be getting in terms of your BAH and your tuition assistance. So we're going to search schools. I went ahead and pulled up College of the Canyons, and it tells you what you would be eligible for here in terms of tuition, housing, and books. But again, you can search any schools, you can search any state, just a great place for you to look and get that information so you know exactly what you're getting into financially. again, here's another school. It tells you, breaks down what the housing allowance will be, what the book stipend will be. And we like to point this out because these numbers can be a little bit different or off from what the school might say that you need. So going on to the next slide, you'll see the book stipend here is $1,000, but the state schools say that you might need about $1,600 for books. So already you're $600 short on what you're going to need to pay for your books for any particular, and this is for one school year. So we like to point this out because the GI Bill may or may not fully cover the cost of attendance. You might still have to be paying out of pocket. And so we're going to talk about some tips that are going to help you kind of stretch your GI Bill and make the most of what you have, how you are receiving in order to kind of make these ends meet. So again, here the cost of attendance is $25.69, so you may or may not get all of that covered by the GI Bill. Another thing to note is that it takes a minimum of 120 credits in order to obtain your bachelor's degree. And, you get 36 months of coverage for the GI Bill. So you may or may not be able to fully use that in order to graduate. It's called a four-year degree for a reason. It's supposed to take 4 years. Well, the GI Bill is going to cover 3 years of that. So you have to plan that if you're taking any prerequisites, if you fail a class for whatever reason, you have to repeat a class, you may not be able to use the GI Bill to fully cover that degree. So for that reason, we've talked about these tips. So tip 1 is taking more than 12 units. So taking 15 units, if you take just one more class, you'll still get that tuition fully paid by your GI Bill. And this could lead to you potentially graduating one semester early. So if you can handle that additional class, we are strongly encouraging you to take that on as just a way of just getting that done earlier to make sure that you're maximizing your full benefits. So tip 2 is considering certifying at 3/4 time. That means signing up for 4 classes, but only registering 3 of those through the GI Bill. So this could potentially extend your GI Bill benefits from 36 to 45 months. The BAH would be paid at that 3/4 time, but you could potentially use that last class to pay for that with some sort of financial aid, either that being the California Promise, or if you've gotten a scholarship, or just any other way to cover that last class. So tip 3 is participating in a work study. Again, we highly recommend this because you will not be receiving BAH in between semesters and quarters. I'm sure many of you already have discovered that. So there are additional costs, not just associated with school, that you're going to have to pay for. So getting that work study, you will have the option of, having someone who understands that you're a student, who are going to assign you some VA duties, and they're going to be really working with your schedule because they know that this isn't your primary job. Like you're focusing on school, so they're going to be respectful of that, and you're still going to be earning the minimum federal wage. So it's a great way to earn some extra money to offset the cost of attendance in order to, keep going to school. So tip 4, withdraw versus an F. So we talk about this because, things happen. Class might be too hard, or it might not be the class that you wanted at all, so you end up withdrawing. And so what you have to notice is if you withdraw, it won't affect your GPA. However, it will affect your stipend if you don't replace that class, because then now if you withdraw from a class, you're looking at that 3/4 time that we mentioned earlier. So if you're not replacing that class, it's going to affect your BH. It's going to affect how much money you receive. So you might have to replace that, real quick, find something that'll cover that. Now, if you receive an F, it's not going to affect your BH. You took that class, you did it from beginning to end, so that grade is going to appear on your transcript, and you may or may not have to repeat that class depending on if it's a graduation requirement. So that's where it can affect the time that you have. You might have lost some months on your GI Bill if you then have to go back and take that class all over again. So now it's affected your GPA, and it may have affected your time of your GI Bill. So it's just something to consider when you're looking at either withdrawing from a class or earning that F. So tip 5 is using the Veterans Resource Center. We sincerely hope that you are doing this already, and that you've been put into contact with just this webinar through your Veterans Resource Center, because they are a great resource on just providing a variety of services. Each resource center is different. They might offer more, they might offer less, but it's just a great place to get that assistance, but then also to get that camaraderie of having, you know, like minds who truly understand, you know, the work that you've put in to get to this point. So it's a great resource for you. And then finally, let's talk about some financial assistance. Obviously, you should know about the FAFSA, making sure you complete that out, making sure you apply for that California Promise if you're eligible, and then looking into scholarships if that's an option for you in order to, again, offset those costs. Being cognizant of the kind of financial aid package that you are accepting. You know, many schools will offer you student loans, doesn't mean you have to take those. And if you do need to take a loan, doesn't mean you have to take the full amount. You know, just be really careful with your finances. We know that it's a big financial debt, student loan debt that many people are having. So, you know, just want to be aware of that and looking for other options on covering those costs of school that is not the student loan. So talking about the Veteran Readiness and Employment Program, Chapter 31 benefits, used to be called Vocational Rehabilitation. The VA has renamed this program. So this is designed really to be an education and job placement benefit. So the goal is if you need some additional education in order to get into a specific job, you may be able to get up to 48 months. So now this is not taking it 36 and you get 48 on top of it. It would be moving from 36 months, giving you additional 12 months to get you up to that 48 months. So not an additional 48, really just an additional 12 months in order to help you get that that education that'll help you get that job so you can get gainful employment. So finally, as Derek mentioned, the college tuition and fee waiver for veterans dependents. This is open to all dependents of veterans who have a rating, a disability rating of 0% or above. The dependent must be residing in California in order to receive this benefit, and it does waive tuition through any of the state-funded schools. So the big difference for this, so if you have any of your dependents, the key difference here between this and the fee waiver is, or the difference between this and the GI Bill, is this just waives fees and tuition. With the GI Bill, your dependent might want to use the GI Bill because you do receive that book assistance, you do receive that BAH. With just the CalVet tuition and fee waiver, it's just waiving fees. So you will still have to come out of pocket for, you know, room and housing and food and all that stuff. So that is really one of the main difference here between if your dependent is going to use the GI Bill that you transfer to them or using this fee waiver. Another great benefit of this is depending on the plan that your child qualifies under, they can go all the way up to their doctorate. Like for me, for example, I am a dependent of a veteran, even at my age. So if I wanted to go back to school to get my doctorate for whatever reason, I still qualify as long as I'm meeting some of the plan qualifications. So it's just something that, you know, to keep in mind as you get older. So there are some requirements of getting these plans, but it's something that it makes school accessible for a pretty long time for your dependent. And then so if you are opening up your Veterans Resource Book, either digitally or on the one that we provided to you, you can get more information on what those plans are and all the specifics of those plans to get the fee waiver, and just other overall education benefits in this booklet as well. So again, we always strongly encourage you to get that information, either get it on your own or feel free to reach out to us. So here's my contact information. Again, as Derek mentioned, you know, someone's always answering the phone. It's just not going to send you to some you know, computerized person. You are going to get a person if you call us directly. And then we are primarily available now via email because of COVID-19. And we are always answering emails. So please, 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 if you or a friend or a family member have any questions about anything we've talked about here today, please, please, please reach out to us. So at this time, we're going to transition over to our virtual question and answer panel. Derek is moderating the chat right now, so I'll let him pull up what we have. In the meantime, we're just going to display our information again. Derek, did we get any questions? Let's see. I don't get any.
I actually do not see any questions directly to the CalTAP questions tab, but if you wanted to give it a minute or two, if anybody has some last minute questions, they can feel free to submit those to that questions tab.
Awesome. So I'm gonna, while we wait for everyone to gather their final questions, I'm gonna switch to our next slide, which is just going over our upcoming webinars. Now, again, we do have another one coming up for College of the Canyons in October. This one's not listed here. We just listed the September webinars. But please feel free to go ahead and register, even if it's not your school. This information is not secret. We want to reach as many veterans as possible. So these webinars are listed on our Eventbrite page, so the same place where you registered for this one. You are more than welcome and strongly encouraged to register. Some of these might go into a little bit more detail than what we did here. For example, starting a small business that more focuses on our entrepreneurship pathway, so you can get more information there. For the employment services and opportunities, next week we will be having the Employment Development Department on giving us information. That one is tomorrow. So again, just we pull in whatever resource we can, and we want to connect you guys to that. These are all 1-hour sessions because, again, we really want to be respectful of your time as students who likely have a lot going on. So again, we just are encouraging you to keep following us on our Eventbrite and participating in any webinars that you can in order to get more information.
Danielle, I have a question for you. If there's several of the those listening are part of the Veteran Resource Center team from Region 6. If they're interested in having CalTAP conduct a webinar like you've done here for Renard at College of the Canyons, what should they do?
You can reach out to our main email, which I do not see here, but I will put it in the chat. Just our CalTAP at calvet.ca.gov, and we can get you guys on a calendar, get you connected with our managers, and get you guys on a calendar. Because again, we do try to kind of make these unique for each of the schools, but also open to all the veterans in the area. So if that's something that you're interested in, please connect with us, and we would love to partner with you and your school in order to get you more information. That's a great question. One more thing too, this webinar is being recorded again so that you or another vet or a family member or friend can get access to that. It will be posted on the CalVet website under that CalTAP logo. Many of our events are already available on that website. So if you weren't able to stick around, or you know a friend that wasn't able to make it, please encourage them to check on. Okay, my daughter's talking about cars. So here again is our website. There's that CalVet, that CalTAP email. You can contact us directly there, and we can get that information forwarded over to our manager so that they can connect with you directly for future outreach events. Or again, if you're a veteran and you want to reach out to us with more questions, this CalTAP email is facilitated and monitored by several of the CalTAP training coordinators. So it might go out to any one of us, or you can email us directly from the emails that we showed you earlier. Anything yet, Derek?
Negative. No, I don't see anything coming through. So I think we should be good to go.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for joining us and taking this time out of your busy day. We hope that you guys are staying safe out there and taking care of your families. We really appreciate you joining us. Thank you, Anthony, for taking time out of your busy day to join us. I know you guys have a lot going on as LINCs, all the great work that you do. So we just appreciate everyone joining us. We'll go ahead and end it here. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.